very simple. Very simple. You know, the vision after so much of humanity living more, you could say, closer to nature, and then having a surge of a new way of existing on this planet, and that's when the industrial age came into being. 18th century, I guess it was. And we're still in a twilight stage, and it's going to take so many more generations before the mind really adopts to a new way of existing and being. Because far too many of our young ones are taking their own lives all over the world. It's happening everywhere. America, Ireland, there's an epidemic. In America, there's an epidemic. It's very confusing because the vision, suicide, because the crossover effect of not only having to grow up so much faster, forced. Children are forced, literally forced, like forced labor, to grow up so much faster. And after, in our DNA, after millions of years of looking at it differently, working it differently in growing up, and then all of a sudden, within a few hundred years, this forced, the organism knows it and feels it. It does know it. And it can't really keep up with it all that well. Some do well and most don't do so well. And it is not an intelligence thing. As we understand intelligence, it's the intelligence of the body. It's the intelligence of the organism itself that has a hard time keeping up with the fast pace. And the pace is ever so faster. It's getting much more intelligent, actually, the pace. It's getting clearer to some degree. But it is the body itself that having such a difficult time with this. And it has caused a lot of confusion, not only to my generation, but to, obviously, to go up into space and to have so many young ones take their own lives, And as a result, and because it has gone so fast that the crossover of how children were looked upon and educated to be with the nature, and when the Industrial Revolution came in, that cord was cut, like the umbilical cord when a child is born from the mother, but it's a cord cut somewhat with nature. And as a result of this cord that was cut, survival of the self, it takes precedence. Survival of the self actually takes precedence over most things that should be contemplated and looked upon in this world. Survival of the self. I come first. I come first. Quietly, this is the number one thing. I survive first. And because the generations of I come first, or survival, in other words, to get a job, and to provide the means, because too many people came away from the farms and from the open spaces and started to live in the city, and that required them to get a typical job of labor. And then the exchange of money and bartering came in. So the survival changed from survival out there to survival of paying the bills. And as a result of this cord being cut from the survival out there, because that is a natural bond. But when it came into the city and the cord was cut between the organism, the human being, and the environment itself, you could say a selfishness attitude came in as a result, because their survival comes first for a human being. It started off good to some degree of the school system. But look how the Western world has treated their school systems. In America, it's very obvious. Children, their education and the type of teachers that they get is pretty low end when it comes to where the money goes, where our tax dollars go. Very, very low end. It's way down the ladder, because they're looked upon as children. The cord has been cut. Now, because what matters is the self, the survival of the self. That my generation, not thinking of other generations. And if you look in most countries, and in third world countries, it's really no different. That the emphasis comes that the adults take care of themselves and not their kids. With good schools, they should get really most of the money. The best teachers, and not just teachers that want a job. Because like any profession, like when it comes to physicians or nurses or whatever, there are people that go and into these professions just so they could have a job. But the ones that have the passion to be a good doctor, to be a good nurse, to be a good teacher, these are the ones that should teach our children. And all the money should be put into that, because that is nothing but the future. But it has literally taken a back seat in our modern day world. Totally a back seat. And the emphasis goes into a totally new direction, because this cord has been cut. And then there's no logic and reason to think this way about the kids. None whatsoever. None. We'll provide just this much. We don't even really care what happens very much in there, in the classroom. That's their problem. When they realize that's actually humanity's future. And to reconnect this umbilical cord, it takes, you could say, a lot of deprogramming. It takes more heartful and more caring intent to rebond with this. And actually, modern day people cannot spend a month out there or a weekend every year of the month and expect to get this cord connected, because you can't do that. It's cut. It is literally cut. It's over. So then the civilized, cultured human being needs to be much smarter with their intelligence and understand what the predicament is. And what is the self-oriented thinking, and where that lies, and go look and what happens with our school system. It's terrible. It's terrible, the priority our school system has in this world. It's just it's shocking. It is because it is a general attitude, because it is cut, because survival is number one precedent in all human beings. Survival of the self comes first. Yeah. Here's another way to look at it. When in Afghanistan, when the Taliban was blowing up those Buddhist statues, or not the statues, but the rock engraved, 175 feet high, And it's funny how the world, so much of the world, even the Buddhist leaders, they found it outrageous, and how could you do this and do all this? And all of a sudden now even the religious leaders are speaking out, and people are saying, hey, we'll buy these and we'll do this, and hey, how can you do this, and look at this and look at this. That is insane. That is nothing but a selfish attitude. Total selfish attitude. When they know very well, because that cord is cut, women and children take back seat. Look what's happening with the women there. How come they don't speak out against that every day? And then they act like these exploding of these Buddhist statues is one of the worst things in humanity. But look what's happening to their kids and to the women. They won't speak out about that because the cord is cut. So then their priorities becomes things, objects, subjective objectiveness. Then what matters most are inanimate objects. Because women have been cut, the cord's cut. The earth is cut. It's a feminine. The earth is very, very feminine. And you cut that cord, guess how are you going to look at women? Same thing. Children too, because they come from the women. And all these outrageousness. And if you felt the same way, what was happening in Afghanistan, and if all of a sudden you felt outrageous about this, about what they were doing with these Buddhist statues, and you didn't think about what's really going on, what really matters, what really is the emphasis. That's where the rage should go, not the statues. And then for all these spiritual leaders to speak up against that, that's nothing but thinking of me, myself, and I, totally lost in themselves. And you got to check this out with yourself, where you got enraged. What got you angry and upset? And if it was the statues, go to the back of the line again and reassess, because that's pointless. It's what they have been doing, what the women are constantly under. That's where you should be raising your voice and getting angry at, not the statues. And you see how the world is upside down. And when you watch billions, millions, countless millions thinking like that, to have the courage to go against the flow. To have the courage to go against the flow. And to see all that emphasis on all these so-called intelligent people being outrageous about the statues being blown up. All of a sudden they can stand in their newspaper, in the front page, and radio and TV and be so proud that they can speak up against bringing down stone, no matter how old it is, and be so proud that they can have their name printed. But how easily it is to forget what's really happening of blood. But when the cord is cut, survival of the self, of the selfishness, becomes the precedent and the front runner of it all. And then in reality, you cannot blame the Taliban for thinking the way they do at all. You can't, people. You cannot blame them at all. If you really look to see what is their predicament. For it's obvious, all it tells you is that there are a bunch of teenagers with a lot of guns. A bunch of teenage mentalities with a lot of guns. And if you look at their history, they have not had a chance to grow up in the last 30 years. They've been at war. No chance to grow up, to develop any maturity. And what are children going to do? You can't blame them. You can't. They haven't had a chance to mature, to have any culture come in. They've been dodging bullets, running in and out of the valleys. You can't blame them. They're doing what they think is right. Because they've been under survival ever since they were very young. And they have very good reason. And yet how wrong it is to have so much hate. But that's nothing new. To have so much hate, to do what they're doing to the women, that's nothing new. That's why it's so important, to get people to mature as much as possible. So if you react to the same way with these carvings embedded in rock, like most people did, you got that illness, get it out of your blood. Get that out of your blood. Get it out. And give it proper perspective. When the cord is cut, it is subjective. Objectiveness is basically, that changes the reality to skin and blood. It's an exchange. And that's where the selfishness of thought, of perspective, of living comes into play. Work that out. And that will pull you out of that mass consciousness that most people reside in. That's why all that outrage and got all that coverage. When the world doesn't have a backbone, it doesn't. There is no backbone anywhere in this world. No country has a backbone. Nowhere. Germany doesn't, Switzerland doesn't, America doesn't. None of them they have a backbone. Everybody's afraid to talk and to speak up, but they'll raise their issues with these statues. And they won't go in there and change the government because they're doing people wrong. They're doing people wrong. But they don't have a backbone to change anything. Everybody's afraid to speak up as not to get criticized. Not to get criticized. Because when it comes time for left brain, right brain, and then to really understand the paradox of it all, self-criticism, becomes a real issue within. To be able to stand on your own, regardless if 5.3 billion people think differently, to have the courage to do that. Because you could say there's like 5.3 billion spark plugs firing basically the same way as a 5.3 billion people externally in the external environment thinking the same way like the Taliban and the outrageousness of these statues. To change the firing inside is not to match the firing externally. Okay. Tonight, what do you want to do tonight? I mean, a lot of people have asked about disco. Tomorrow is the last sweat lodge. So tomorrow morning is the last sweat lodge. Is there a sweat lodge tonight? No sweat lodge tonight. So we have the movies. Okay. Thank you. All right, we can watch a movie or do the dancing tonight. So it is up to you. The movies that we have are one called Dark City. That's really interesting. It's a scientific film. No, Dark City it's really quite a movie. It's a real shocker for the mind. It's a science fiction movie, but it really makes you think. It really makes you think. It's well done. It actually enlightens. It should be Dark City, Light City. No. Then we have Pleasantville, and that's very interesting. It's where everybody's is black and white, and then when love appears, it turns color. Then the people they get color, like a black and white TV. And then when two people, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they start to love each other, they become color, Yeah. Well, that is kind of like, huh? Same thing, huh? Your life gets very colorful. Huh? Is that why I see everybody in black and white? Huh? Maybe I don't watch this movie. Robin, I can't. Patch Williams. Patch Williams by Robin Williams. He's a doctor that makes his patients laugh. So we can watch dance tonight, or watch a movie. Or I can send you on a midnight vision quest.
In the snow.
Yeah, through the snow. But it's a 50-mile journey. But trust me, it will be very spiritual. Because I'll send you out there to go in search of your power animal. And it's not the next bedroom. So what is it, power animal or movie? Oh, I mean dancing. What would you like? Or not do anything? What would you like? Or not do anything?
Dancing.
Okay.
Democracy.
Yeah, democracy. But if the dictator doesn't like it, he can always change it. Okay, but to look good. Those who want to go dancing, raise your hand, please. Those who want to do a disco tonight, dancing, that we dance tonight, disco tonight, raise your hand. Okay. That looks really good. Okay. The power animal, raise your hand. I don't blame you. You never know, what's out there. Yeah. Okay, movie. Oh boy. Okay. 8 o'clock, is that a good time for everybody? Okay, which one? Patch Williams, the physician who makes his patients color. Pleasantville? Okay, wait. Those who want to watch Pleasantville, black and white, raise your hand. It's in German. Oh, no. I don't know. I don't recognize anybody. Huh? Nobody? Jesus, there was nobody. It was only 2. Dark City?
See where you got us?
Dark City. You're bad.
10 years.
You're really bad. You're bad.
In the first year, everybody would have shown up for Patch Adams.
Oh yeah. Well, that's right. You have been corrupted because remember when I first came
And if I would have presented these 3 movies, you know, Dark City, forget it, you know. Give me a love story, or, you know, give me some, you know. Remember? You know? And now you're going for Dark City. Wow. I'm not so afraid of the dark anymore. Oh, I'm proud of you. And you can laugh and smile too. That's the good part. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. There was a question. Give me some water, please. There was a question, and this is relevant to all of us. They're leaving tomorrow, so I should answer the question. When one goes out into the desert, or actually, this is like going out to the desert here too. And thank you. And how to hold the situation, how to hold the feelings, and how to somehow retain that emotional sensation, so that it will not be disturbed when it goes back into the workplace, into the outside world. Always in the beginning, you are who you are. If you don't have the capacity to hold the space, if you don't have the capacity to hold the sensations, the feelings, let's say to retain the experience so it just doesn't go up into smoke and the outside world, once you go out, eats it up. That is what you need to pay attention to, that it eats it up, to get the evidence. Because see, it is not gaining the experience, people. Experience will not help you. People have a misconception. Experience is not going to really get you there. It won't. It won't. But people have this misconception by one more experience, one more new experience. It won't get you there. It won't, people. Good data, good facts, good, clear understanding is what will get you there. And the reality is that if you can gain some wonderful sensations and experiences in the desert or in here, and then you find out that out there the next day or a week later or an hour later, something ate it up. And it's gone. Forget about it. It's gone. The reality is it's gone. What matters is that, my God, what in the world did this? So this is why I've been, and this is what everybody goes through, yes, but they just don't pay any attention to it. They just, if a good feeling comes up, comes up. If a bad feeling comes up, it comes up. But what does this? Who's turning on the switch, the light switch, off and on? Your mind needs to know this. It needs to know this. So that means you go back into boot camp. You got to go back to school. Put on, you know what a boot camp is? When you go into the Army, you have to spend something like 6 months at boot camp to learn what it is to be in the Army, and then you become real Army. So it's like a preschool. Huh? You got to go back to boot camp, preschool, because your mind needs the evidence that there is something that's flipping on the switch and flipping it off. And it's these environments. And you got to understand that some environments are just too powerful for you to hold up. And some environments will support you. Some people are not good for you people. There are bad people out there. Some people are wonderful for you. Some people will have no effect. And some people will love you no matter what you do. And some people are always going to hate you no matter what you do. There are some pieces of land that are not good for you. There are some villages that are not good for you. There are some towns that are not good for you. There's some villages that are wonderful for you. There's some music that's not good for you. There's some pieces of music that are wonderful for you and works for you. Environments. Pay attention to the environments and don't take it personally. None of this, even though you're going to. Educate your mind. And watch how another environment will eat up all that wonderful stuff that you just acquired. And let it go. You can't do anything about it. Say, my God, now I got another piece of evidence. This really does exist. It's a phenomenon. It really does exist. But it's a real phenomenon, actually. It's just that people never pay any attention to it. It's just a house. It's just a home. It's just another building. It's just another office. It's just another person. It's not. It is radiating a particular frequency and energy that people cannot see or pay attention to. But you pay attention to it when it's hate, or when it's love, or when you like it, or when you don't like it, you pay attention. But people don't pay attention when those elements are not there. You got to keep that mind awake all the time. Educate it. Get the evidence that it really does exist. And in time, that accumulated evidence will start to mount up. And pretty soon, it starts to turn into a teacher to teach you. The hunter. Remember what the hunter said? Going out hunting. You may think that your obstacles are a result of you. They're not. It's external. It's external that are really most of the obstacles. But people take it personally that they're your obstacles. No, they're really external. Most of them are external. And people take it personally. That's selfish orientation, actually.
self-orientedness. That's not healthy. Pardon? To choose what is always good for me, or even if it's bad. Now, you're talking about something very complex here. The more serious you are out there with everything, you're very serious, that means there's a lot of ignorance. It's your first sign there's a lot of ignorance going on. If you're really taking things too serious out there, there's a lot of ignorance. Because most of it, we are actually dependent on the external environment for most of our happiness. 80, 98, 99% of your happiness is dependent on the economy, people. You're not the success, it's the economy that's giving you your happiness, most of it. So then one has to consider, what is real genuine happiness? Good question. And do you have the discretion, what is economic happiness or genuine happiness? Good question. This is what the mind needs. This is what the mind needs to consider, because this is a greater reality above the personal realities that people indulge themselves with. Personalness, too much personalness. You got good minds, use it for what your education was given to you for. The serious ones, start to smile more. Come on. Come on, there you go. Come on. No, don't take it so seriously, right? Because the minute you do, your identity, your persona, takes off right to over that bridge to the left brain. It takes off somewhere in there where it becomes very identified. In such a way, you get lost. You need your whole brain. You need to really activate as much brain matter as possible, as much mind as possible, as much heart as possible. And the skin, the psychological things, what happens, what people don't pay attention to, what normally, you know. And then when you need to be serious, people. You better be serious. But when not, you're not. And to figure out what's good for me, you got to figure what's good for you, but good in your future. Just check your future. 2 or 3, 4 years from now, would the answer be good for my future? But if you have a game of playing games with yourself, I wouldn't trust yourself. Then seek someone that can help you with that question. Consult someone who you know can help have a clear mind. Then when you get an idea what is good for you, according to how they look at it, then you start to pick up those qualities. But know your weakness with your mind. Because a lot of people pick so I can suffer. I know you're good at suffering. I'm proud of you, actually. So, nice. Yes?
When I'm a mother, so is it more important to know what is good for
It requires both. You got to do both. One, if the mother's not healthy, if the mother is hungry, the decision is going to be affected. So the mother needs to stay healthy. That's considered first. That is considered first. It is very much like, it's funny, business has learned to understand a lot of this very, very well, because it's got to be very clear, no emotional stuff. When you are on an airplane and the pressure breaks in the airplane, these oxygen masks come in and they say, hey, don't put it on your child. The parent goes first. Why? Why does the parent go first and you don't go first to the child? If people get caught emotionally, they say, oh, the child comes first. The logic and reason is wrong. The emotional aspect has twisted it. And so you got to get straight with yourself. What comes first? Good logic and reason, the parent comes first, then you put it on the child. It's the same thing, same thinking. And see how business is really so good, actually, because it keeps it clear. It keeps basically the emotional body out of it. And that's how you got to work yourself. It's got to be very clear. And when the emotional body comes in, it's clear. It's better. It has a better chance to be straight with itself. Because the emotional body can be, it's like water. It just spreads. It's, you know. Wish I could give you my mind for a day. One day. A minute? No, a good day. Man, funny, I end up with your mind the rest of my life.
And shoot yourself.
And then I was like, what's that magic, that mantra, that magic formula to reverse it? What page is that? Do you take Swiss chocolate? No, really.
We leave it like it is.
No, people, my mind wasn't any different than yours. Hey, it wasn't. It's not. This is the social mind. This is the mind identified with your education system. It's just the way it is. Until the mind breaks, and you could say breaks out of its bubble, and then all of a sudden the knowledge is there. You cannot help but see, think, speak, relate, understand differently. So don't discount that. You're fine. You're fine. It's just that when the mind's encased in its own bubble, in its own glass, you can't do anything about it. It's to break that glass. Okay? So this is everywhere. This knowledge and everything, this understanding, believe me, it's there. It's just breaking through.
I want to ask, what is the role of the animals in the whole play, or and the emotional body, or when they die in the last moments, when they are slaughtered? What happens with them?
Well, there is no death. There is no death. No.
But it is like for the human beings, the last moments of death,
Yes, it
whether
is.
they are conscious or not.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And when they get, for example,
The fear.
injection,
Yeah.
they can die,
Yeah.
then it's not so good.
They know it. I mean, animals know when they're going to a slaughterhouse. They know they're going to die. Animals know it.
When they have to go.
Yes, they know it. Sure, they know it.
Yeah, but when they get then this chemical stuff to die.
Oh, I don't know about the chemical stuff, but when they're about to die, they know it. But you could say they may not have the complete clear understanding that a human being would have, and I doubt that because there isn't the brain capacity to really understand as a human being would understand. Even human beings freak out. They even deny it. They go into denial. You know, I mean, look what happened with the Jewish in World War II. So many of them just denied it. You know, millions just denied it. It's too much. The reality was too great. And as it is with animals, they just don't have the capacity. Some you say you can see no, but not all. It's like some human beings don't deny it. But it's easier to deny it than it is to acknowledge the reality. But again, when animals, when they get slaughtered, it's a shock. And they got to work that out.
Is that similar to human beings?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not at all. There's a big difference. There's a very big difference. People,
I mean, when they have a shock at the end.
there's a difference. There's no doubt a difference. Yeah. Yeah, there's an advantage to being raised in a good community versus a community where there's an awful lot of ignorance. There's an advantage. We all know this. We've seen it. It does happen. Happens to millions, countless millions of people being born in these situations. They can't do anything about it. As it is, here. And again, it really depends on the winds that back you up. What is backing you up? And we all know that it is better to be a good sailor than a bad sailor. It really, yeah. Learn to be a better sailor of your own boat. Because you don't go on someone else's boat. You can't. You cannot jump into my body and I cannot jump into yours. It's your own boat. You know, when you like someone, the sail, the passion, whatever it is, that compulsion just pulls you. When you don't like someone, wait, where's your sail? You like that person, but you don't like me? Yeah, that's right. Hey, I like you. What a beautiful wind. Huh? That's all it is. That's all it is, people. But it's your wind. It's your wind. That's what they call the karma. That's the karma. It's the winds. Pulls you into that direction.
it's funny. This is something. When Amanda and Reiner and Martin, they take the van, and they're traveling through all these countries, and they go across the checkpoints, the borders, and when they get stopped, some of the border police, they go right for the holy suitcase. The holy suitcase is the... You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And what is this? Yeah. Yeah. The winds. Because there's a wind. It's got a strong wind. The holy suitcase. And they get used to these winds. To them, it's a wind. If there's a wind, there's something wrong. Yeah, because, guilt and, you're doing something wrong creates a wind, And as to detect the winds, because there's a difference in the winds, but to them, a wind is a wind, so that's why they keep going for it. It's a wind. So, I don't mean the other wind. I mean the wind. I mean, you never know these days. People they'll misinterpret so easily. I bet some of you did, didn't you? All right. Mañana.
So is it 8 o'clock or is it later? If people go to eat now, 8 o'clock might be now.
Okay, what time? 8 o'clock, raise your hand, please. 8:30, raise your hand. 8 o'clock. Yeah. Turn the chairs so they're more, so you don't strain your neck. Stay there, but just turn the. Yeah, it's better, huh? Susanna, just better, huh? Good. By turning the seats, we don't have to be so Swiss. We can be more flexible. Isn't that nice, huh? Yeah. Don't have to be straight. Huh? Is it okay? Yeah. Let's go over the first documentary. I know it was 2.5 hours long, and everybody has their, but it's important that that people leave here with no confusion and relaxed. So the 2.5 hour movie, how many found it really difficult? That it was a waste of time, or it didn't serve you at all, you know? I mean, you know, 1, 2, yeah, 3. Yeah, the first movie, the first documentary, you know, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's I like that honesty. Yeah. Another one, good. Okay, a little here, a little there. Yeah, I see. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Life is not fair, huh? Doesn't always get nice things all the time. Yeah. It's a problem with the package, you know. When you get something or buy something or go someplace, the package goes with it, the whole package, you know. You never know what's in the package. And so the whole situation is there. I never saw the movie. You saw the movie before I did. But when I heard and I really listened very, very carefully to what it was all about, and I had a very good idea what it was about. Then I saw it the next night, and I saw a good half of it, and I saw some wonderful parts, and I saw what his objective was. It wasn't to entertain you. It wasn't to entertain, period. Period. Had nothing to do with entertainment. He put that aside. Had nothing to do with entertainment. It is us, the spectator, that very quietly, subconsciously expect, without knowing it, subconsciously expect, not knowing it, subconsciously expect to be entertained still, regardless. Because this is what our habit is, to be entertained with this. And so this factor comes in. And then the problem with the 2.5 hour, I liked it because normally if it's a good documentary and if it's 2.5 hours, it better be good because it's my time. But with something like this, it's not the time involved because of what the initial purpose was. And if he hadn't died so quickly, this documentary would have been worthless. If he would have maybe passed away 5 years later, or it would have been worthless. Never would have shown it. But being that he died afterwards, became a value. Because it was, it's what we got to see through another human being's eyes, just typical things. Just, this is what human beings see all the time, just very typical observation. Typical travels, typical people, and people are people, and just different languages to speak different things. Not entertainment. Because what is the end? Does he expect to be entertained? Is that what he's hoping for, to be entertained? But the habit of being a director, of being a citizen, being young, and always putting movies out, entertainment, that was his quiet subconscious habit too, to entertain. And then all of a sudden, when you get a death sentence, all of a sudden things start to change. And yet he still put in his skills. You could see his skills are in there too. Being a director. A good director entertains too. But still, ordinary stuff no longer. It was good. Yeah. So you were not to be entertained, but you could say 2.5 hours of a human being's last observation. Very, very close. Just things happening. And then one person got irate because the Lama said this to him he doesn't know the Dharma, so forget it, you don't have a chance and all that. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a lama or a grandma or a CEO or a person on the street. It's just a person talking. That's all it is. It's just a person talking with different clothes on. That's all it is. That's not the point. The point is, it's the whole thing. You're not going to get films and people that you want to be pleased with. Because we are amongst all kinds of people. Many different kinds of people. And to know that, yeah. Yeah. And you could also see that he, from a healthy point of view, was going out to try and get cured too. You could see his attempts, and anybody would attempt to try to get cured of this. And time after time, it was forget it, 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 forget it. And he continued to film and showed good parts. But imagine if that is your 2.5 hours. What's your film going to be like? What are you going to do? What are you going to show? Who are you going to go to to help you out of your predicament? What happens when they tell you this or tell you that? What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? How steady are you going to be? You see? And typical things are going to happen along the way. The camera's not going to be steady, and it's going to be moving around, and that's how it is. That's how life really is. It's just very, very, very ordinary, and yet extraordinary if you relax into it. If you relax into it. If you relax into it. It's extraordinary. Yeah. There was something else. Give me something else.
I noticed the difference between the healer when she prepares and when you prepare the altar.
I didn't pay any attention. I fast forward over that. I fast forward over the when the female shaman was doing her healing on him. I just went over. I don't know. I didn't see it. I just. But where I did stop and watch were the ordinary things. That's what caught my eye, not the extraordinary things. A little bit of the lama, go by, because where there is an agenda, watch out. There's desperation, watch out. It's the ordinariness is what I look for. That's where I find you. That's where I will find you. And that's how I knew I could find him. is where he's going to take the ordinary shots and how he's going to look at it. There I'm going to find him, not in the extraordinary with the, with the shamans and the prayers and the lama. That's, there's agendas on there, ulterior motives. Forget it, We get lost in that so easily. But the small, ordinary things that people find boring, I will find you there. Because it is there that you relax. It is there that you relax. No putting on the actress and the actors. All of a sudden turning holy in front of a lama. There, in the ordinariness, you come out. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he showed the family. I didn't see that. I did not see that. The last part that I saw were all the kids in Africa. After that, I was, yeah. Okay, he did it well. Yeah, that was ordinary. That. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That was a highlight. And I knew he's okay. He's good. Yeah. If you got lost in the lama, you're lost. If you got lost in the shaman, you're lost. Very lost. You see the emphasis, huh? Where people put their charges and the emphasis, huh? Where I come from and where other people come from, looking at these things. It's kind of like yesterday, the Taliban, and I heard that I got very passionate and very angry, and talking about this. Hey, you ought to see me with an army uniform, and there's an enemy coming after me, coming my way. You ought to really see me then. You would be very, very grateful that I'm watching your back and protecting you. Be very grateful. I was shown no mercy. When it comes to danger, I'm just as dangerous. I act. And when the danger comes, okay, phone off. Okay. Can you imagine? This is what shocks me still, because I get all these comments, and I said, oh Christ, oh Jesus, oh God, okay, and I was passionate, a little angry because of, the Taliban, and because before you're so holy and speaking softly and and all that, and then here comes, the Chinese over the hill, with all their guns, and Emaho, oh, I love my neighbors, and I even love the Chinese, and I just speak, and I will sing you a song in Chinese. And even though my voice is not all that good, I will speak softly from my heart. you really pay attention, yeah, it is how I teach that teaches you. If you really backtrack, there's a time to pray, there's a time to be angry, there's a time to laugh, there's a time to defend, there's a time to dance, there's a time to speak soft, there's a time to run. This world is a very, very dangerous world. It's a very dangerous world, people. It really is very dangerous. And this world is a very beautiful world. It's a very beautiful world. But we have to teach and have to have an understanding of our nervous system that we can respond to the appropriateness with the right measure of fighting or kissing. To act immediately, without hesitation. You don't want me as an enemy. That's for sure. But as a friend, yes. In the very beginning, I've told you years and years ago, the friends that I have are the ones that I know that I can go to sleep and they will protect my back. They will protect my back. They will not fall asleep. And they will rage. They will fight to protect my back. That's how I gauge my friends. Because it's a dangerous world. It is a dangerous world. Yeah. And this thing with the Taliban, it wasn't a comment at all. I wasn't giving any comments at all. Not at all. There were no comments. Has nothing to do with comments. When the train goes by and I say, the train is loud, that's a comment. That is a comment. But if a jet goes by and breaks the sound barrier and can bust our eardrums, and I said, that's loud. That is not a comment at all. That is not a comment. When it starts to have affliction towards the feelings and thoughts towards a person's life, where there is some sort of danger and injury, it takes it out of the context of comments and puts it in a totally different category. Totally different category. So think about that. Totally different category. Nothing to do with comments. It's blood, skin, and flesh. But it may appear. But your job is learn to have discretion to take that apart. when it is no longer in comment and it has value, essence, real value. So, and learn that. But see, the problem is most of us are desensitized with everything that happens outside your border. Look at the phenomenon of what happened with Bosnia. The first month, everybody was in an uproar. You know, your blood was boiling and ready to go fight or whatever, or send money. And 3 months later, 4 or 5 months later, 6 months later, turn the page. Just turn the page. And they're still going on, just turn the page. Why? Desensitized. Desensitized. Totally desensitized. And this is our problem as a human being. You get easily desensitized. Easily. So watch out. When your blood rises, something's wrong. The passion should always be there. Always see it. You should always have that passion when there's something wrong. Huh? But to have the passion when you need to speak it with that. Yeah. And the Taliban, again, it's not their fault. And someone made a comment this morning, it's the United States' fault, basically. Huh? And Russia that started it, all that back then. It's really their fault. Giving weapons, lots of money and weapons, ruin their lives to fight this other army. You know. Yeah. Lots of money, people with money, and other agendas and politicians. Goes way back. Yeah. And again, when it comes to art, those 175-foot those statues of Buddha, I wish they never would have been destroyed just as much as anybody else. Art should always be preserved, always. It's the only thing that humanity can preserve of itself. Nothing else we can. Nothing. Nothing can be preserved. It's the arts that speak of humanity. The statues, the buildings, the paintings. It's crucial of humanity. But blood comes first. And when people put statue in front of blood, as the outcry, there's something wrong. We have desensitized towards women and towards kids. Too much. What else? What else? Oh, there's a rumor going around. Jesus Christ. This is another good one. Okay. I heard that I said in Berlin that I'm going to go to Japan to get my future lifetime. Something about and I got these other women very disturbed. They didn't like it because I'm going to talk about my future lifetime. By going to Japan. What was it that I said in Berlin? Anyway, there were 3 Berliners here, 4 Berliners. Did I talk anything about future lifetime in Berlin? Nothing, no Japan. But it would happen in Berlin, they said, at the Berlin workshop. No. Maybe you all slept. Pardon? I said Japan. Yeah, but something about my future lifetimes. Jesus Christ. Okay. I went over this in Freiburg. Yeah, it was Freiburg. About Hottentots, huh? Okay. I love rumors. I love rumors. They're juicy, aren't they? Very juicy. Okay. So is the rumor of Berlin over with? The ones who are passing it, are you satisfied? Or are we going to add another word? What is it? Come on. If it's there, let me hear it. I want to hear it. Huh? What is it? Anything? Can somebody help me out? Okay. Let's do this. And this will help you. And I was shocked that I've met a few people that they've been doing this their whole life. What I'm going to talk about now, about how to handle rumors. Because too many people they get plagued by it, and then they get caught in this cycle, and I mean a lot of people like to do it. If I tell you something, okay, personally, if I tell you something personally, and I give you this information, I am giving you first-hand information, okay? You're receiving first-hand information. When anybody gives you first-hand information, it is a privilege. It is a real honor and privilege to get first-hand information, okay? But you know what people do with it? And you say, keep it quiet. Oh yes, usually most people who receive the first-hand information says, yes, I'll keep it quiet. And then they go, because they're going to go give it to somebody else, because they're going to tell them to keep it quiet, because it'll stay first-hand information. So it's a way of the mind to keep your promise and keep it quiet, because it's going to continue to be first-hand information, because I'm giving it to my best friend, and that's first-hand information, and I'm first-hand, so it's the same thing. Okay? So the mind can rationalize this very easily. But in reality, no matter how you play with it, in reality, when you speak this information to another person, it is second-hand information. Right? And once it becomes second-hand information, from my point of view, almost in the trash. Almost. Okay. Second-hand information is almost in the trash. Okay. That's how I look at it. Because human beings have a tendency of not having good hearing qualities. Most human beings do not develop good hearing qualities. We're not taught to listen correctly. We're not taught to people. There's no real instruction how to really listen and how to pass on the word. Years ago, in the olden days, they learned to listen. They had a lot more time to listen. And so when the stories were passed on, the stories were usually passed on word for word, emphasis for emphasis. So the same story was usually passed on, because we didn't have TVs, we didn't have handies, we didn't have movies, we don't have to drive a car, we don't have Friday nights. We got lots of time and lots of quietness to develop good hearing tendencies. But because we're so busy And because we all have our habits of being so busy in so many different ways, our hearing is not correct. Because our minds are so busy, and then here's this person telling us one thing, and then our thoughts are busy with this and this and this and this and this and this, and then all of a sudden we take it to the second hand. We're going to go tell somebody else. Our busyness has interceded in our feelings, and because we are so emotional in many ways, and especially with our emotions coming up, the emotion factor comes in, adds a little sharpness, a little sharpness. And if that person has hatred, the person's going to add a little poison to that picture, to that word. Because people, we are all chemists. We are all a pharmacy. We're all a pharmacy. And all of us are expert pharmacists. You know what a pharmacist is? We're experts at it. Experts. Ooh. Can you imagine when you really get somebody really angry, and they're smiling at you and they're already putting on their white coat and getting those various chemicals for revenge, a little, I'll get you, I'm going to get you, and then, and it could be just with a word, put on a little, you know what I'm talking about? Does anybody? I don't know. I don't know if I'm reaching you. Is it?
Yeah.
Am I clear? Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. I feel like nobody is understanding me. Okay. I'll trust you. I don't know, but that's what I get. I don't. It's like, oh Jesus. Do I feel better? Okay. And because when the person who receives the first-hand knowledge and passes it on to the second person, you're passing on second-hand knowledge. It's ready for the trash. Because once it passes over, who knows what the person has done with it? Who knows? And most people are not good listeners. And most people are going to add a word. They're going to forget a word. They're going to forget an emphasis. They're going to forget an adjective, put another adverb, or put a noun. You can do anything you want with it, and it's not going to be the same. You could have been that you're tired and you heard that, or you were pissed off, you were very angry, and then they told you. Who knows what you're going to do with it? I don't know. But it is secondhand knowledge. Almost ready for the trash. Delete, almost. And that's all it is, Want to tell me what's written? I don't care, because it's secondhand knowledge. Okay? Then there's third-hand knowledge. Third-hand knowledge. Well, sometimes, and usually what I do, I will backtrack to see who was the second-hand knowledge and how did that person hear and what is that person's temperament. And get to see how, and how it came into the third person, and to see how they hear and what is their temperament, how they take information. And that's going to tell me a lot. But it's ready for trash. I mean, it's really, really. Okay. After that, you heard about the Hottentots. Does everybody know about the Hottentots? The Hottentots is it's an African tribe. an old tribe. They still exist. But they developed a very sophisticated means of numbers, of counting. And like everybody, it's universal for one stick, one stone. And it's universal for two, ein, zwei, drei. But Hottentots, after three, it's just many. It's just many. And it's really very sophisticated, and it has an awful lot of sense once you really start to think about it and understand it, because their logic and reason makes sense. I mean, you live in the jungle, you know. How many plants are in the jungle? Well, many. How many animals? Many. You know. How many spiders? Many. You know, so it's many. You know, so it's understandable. And so it's just many. So anything after the third party, it's Hottentot. Hottentot. It's Hottentot. Period. You know. Okay. Hottentot. Okay. And I know. Okay. And I know. If you are the second-hand knowledge, you're very important. Okay. If you're the person of the first, I know how important you are, because you were chosen. You're the chosen one. You're the chosen one, and I'm proud of you. Very proud. It really speaks who you are. Yeah. And you're the second one. Okay, you're not so important, but you're still second-hand knowledge. Okay. And if you're not the second-hand knowledge and you're third-hand knowledge, okay, you're not so important. You're down the ladder. You're almost at the bottom of the food chain. Okay, and that's about it, really. You're at the bottom of the food chain. Okay, and but you're still number 3. Don't forget that. You're not Hottentot. And if you're Hottentot, you're just low life. Just pure low life. You're walking parallel to the earth. Isn't it wonderful to have, to know this, to know where your place is in the world? You finally have the truth. Yeah. So, who has some Hottentot information for me? I mean, actually, I do. I like the lowest of the low. I like to give low teachings. I give toilet teachings, and I'll give the lowest of the low teachings and make them very, very good. And I like the Hottentot gossip because it's more juicy. It's really jam-packed with a lot of stuff. They're the best. So always give me the Hottentot. Yes.
I wonder whether the difference is like with the Hottentot messages and like talking over somebody, like when two persons sit together and talk over somebody. Is this also in this field?
Talking over somebody, I don't quite know what you mean. Can you give me? Well, there really is a difference between gossiping about somebody and discussing somebody. It is healthy to discuss. It's so healthy to discuss. It's beautiful to discuss. And this is how we learn and really grow, by discussing. Gossip is different. It's a totally different animal, so to speak. It runs on a totally different vein. Huh? Your job is to learn the difference. Learn the difference. It is healthy to discuss. It is healthy to have good constructive criticism. Good constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. It's healthy. We need that. It's important. Healthy doubt is good. It's important. Yeah. Just learn the difference. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
How are we touched by how are we touched when someone speaks about, what's happening?
I don't understand.
When you are the object of the rumor, how does it affect you?
I mean, I'm the object of lots of rumors. You mean talking about me personally, or anybody? When a person is the object of a rumor, it's extremely relative. Depends on the person's makeup and how they can handle criticism and rumors. I remember when my son, my first son, was starting to go to school, and rumors were already starting in school. It's funny, man. In first grade they start. It's really something. And so I spent a lot of time talking to my son about rumors, and how to hold himself, and how to really hold himself, and how to take how people spread rumors or gossip about this person or that person or even him. And after that, he was fine, because he knew that there was already placement. But most people are not taught this by their parents, how to handle rumors, how to handle criticism, especially when it's focused on you. And because at a very early age, before there's a lot of hurt, before there's too much hurt, too much disappointment, before we build up too many walls, that's the time to really learn. Because we can hear and we can deal with it, because we don't hate that person or hate that person or dislike. It's the world is ours. It's open and we're vulnerable to it. And so a person can work with these things. And don't say, oh, you're a bad person, you're a bad person. It just talk. And who knows? Just kind of like wait and see. But when you are the object of a rumor, there's not much you can do. It's in all societies. And I don't think there's a society where it does not exist. All I know is that in any group of people, I would say on an average anywhere between 40% and maybe 80-90%, that percent of people are let's say, they are subjugated to be ruled by the temperament of rumors. They live off rumors. They go by that. That's how they get their fuel. A lot of people do, and they just keep going with it. And that's just the way it is. And then there's always that smaller percent. They learn to drop it, and there are no rumors from them. They don't give out those rumors. They drop that stuff. They don't do anything with it. They have matured with that. They're independent of it. They don't need it, because they're fine with themselves, with their own thinking. And those people are always out in the crowd. But if you are going to go to school, you're going to go work in any office with more than 2 people, you're going to go into any situation where there's more than two people. You're going to be subjugated to being the focus point of some rumors in a matter of any given time. No matter what you do. You know, I've spoken to my garbage men who deliver garbage. Sometimes I'll stop and talk to them, And they even are subjugated to rumors by other garbage people. They're the focal point, and they have a hard time being this because, they're spreading rumors about them, and they're garbage people. Huh? Am I any different? No, not at all. People are people in all walks of life. So whoever you are, you just got to know. If you're going to be a parent, you're going to be subjugated to rumors. If you're going to live in any neighborhood, you're going to be subjugated to rumors. Only to a certain percent. There's another percent that don't do that. And that's, you could say, that is the way our people are. And the trick is to be able to handle it. Who has not been subjugated to rumors? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if nobody has ever spread rumors about you. You have not been the focal point. Come on. Come on. No rumors. None whatsoever, Come on. You. One. I was going to say great. That's good for you. Oh. She didn't understand, she said.
Someone who never suffered from rumor.
No, everyone has suffered from rumors, and everyone, and all of us will continue to suffer from rumors. All of us will. Everyone will. You cannot avoid it. You can't avoid that. No matter what you do, no matter how wonderful you are or how terrible you are, you're going to suffer from rumors. Okay, listen to this. I mean, when I was in high school, there was this rumor going around that there was this old man that he built these bushes around his house so you couldn't see his house, and he buried people in his backyard and did crazy things back there, right? And he lived in another part of town. You know what we did with the rumors? We went there late at night and terrorized this old man to go find out because of the rumors. And because we terrorized this old man, the police caught us and took us to jail. And we found out that he was a World War II veteran that was shell-shocked. Doesn't make you feel too proud. Huh? Rumors. It was Hottentot, and we made fools of ourselves. We were just really didn't look too good as human beings, actually. We were terrible as human beings. But that's what we did. Rumors. And so no matter who you are, what you're going to do, just understand there's always going to be that percent where it's going to come. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing, people. Nothing you can do about it. The trick is, don't suffer. Don't suffer. Don't suffer. I did this, and a lot of people still don't get it. They still don't get it. And I hear this a lot because people still make these little comments. I mean, it's all these little things, people, where you lose your energies, where you start to lose your vital forces, where you start to lose your life. And I'm going to do something to demonstrate it, okay, for you. Can you get that ready for me, please?
someone will say, Emaho, they are not going to be happy. Emaho, I don't think they're not going to be happy. Or people come up and say, Emaho, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy what you say. I'm not happy what you do. I'm not happy with the words I hear. I'm not happy. And if we really look at it and think about it, very quietly, we have woven, in a very early age, we have woven this thing to please everybody. Because everybody's supposed to be happy. Make them happy, make them happy. Make them happy. Make them real happy. So weave it into your mind. Weave it into your thoughts. They're not going to be happy with what I say. They're not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy. We learn this about here, this age, people. And very quietly, it's soaked in through your skin, into your ears, into your eyes. The weaver of your life. What have you woven into your fabric? What have you woven into your brain, into your feelings, into your emotions? What, weaver? We have woven ourselves into our own straitjacket. Is everyone supposed to walk around with smiles of being appeased, being pleased? Is that what it's all about? No. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not at all. Because I wove that same pattern too. I saw that I was also the weaver of my own trap. I better say this so they're happy. I better say this so they're happy. No more. I don't say things to make you happy at all. I do not care if you're happy, actually. I do not care, people. I do not care if you're happy. I do not care. It's wonderful when you are happy. It's wonderful. It is not my job to make you happy. My job is to give you doses of reality, small doses, little drops of doses, so your minds and your feelings and your emotions can tolerate much more. So there's more strength. Because people, well, you know what keeps you happy, what keeps this Western world happy? Your economy. That's what keeps you happy, your economy. So in essence, it is an economy happiness, economic-based happiness. You take the food away, The food dries up. Watch the smile on your faces melt away. Gravity pulling down those cheeks. When people start to get desperate out there, then where's your happiness? Or somebody robs you, robs everything in your house, even from your bank. Where is your happiness then? Know yourself. Know yourself. In a lifeboat with 10 people for 3 months. So you're steady. Whether you're hungry, you feel fear or desperation, you're steady. You know yourself. Know yourself. Yeah. Yes.
I want to thank all the people who come there without me, who has the courage to come here, feeling bad, looking bad, not to smile, and help me to be more honest with myself. And so right now I want to thank all the people coming here, sad and angry, and show it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
that's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. 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 The work in the Firedance. I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. I'm at war in the Firedance. I'm at war, people, in the Firedance. I'm at war. I'm at war in the Firedance. I'm at war with the evilness, with the demonicness. I'm at war with ignorance. I'm at war with complacency. I'm at war with the illnesses of the mind and the body. I'm at war with it. I'm at war with it. I watched my first son. He was my pride and joy. My God, he was my son. He was like my son in the sky. He was, just like any other kid. He was just like any other kid. He was nothing special. He was just like any other kid. He was a happy kid. He was a kid that just loved life just like, kids do. And watch him slowly die, he's still living, but he's not my son, really. Biologically, but
he's gone. Pretty much he's gone. And and there's nothing I could do. Nobody could do anything. It's and I can say that's really in essence my fault that it happened to my son. It's really all my fault, people. And I'm at war with that inside to straighten up. And it's just because I really didn't have enough courage to walk away from the relationship because I knew it was wrong. I knew the chemicals didn't work correctly between her and me. I knew it. I knew it. For years. And then you almost, who knows, a mix of inappropriate pride and self-pity and sorriness and everything came in, and not just having the maturity or the growth to stay there. And it was that mix of these two, young woman and a young man, that one fateful night. Because people, it's a matter of genes. It's a matter of genes and proteins. It's harmony. It's a matter of things working together. Because when a couple is really, really a match, it's really a match. The children, they come out. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. There's a little bit off. They could be a little bit off. The children could look perfect, but they're still a little bit off. If the child is born either through an act of making love, but that making love is an act of lust, the children pay the price, and the parents pay the price too. If that child is conceived through an act of love, you pay the price of getting goodness. You pay the price of a beauty of a child. Really, what you reap, you eventually do sow. You really do. There's no getting away. There's no getting away. And because I knew of staying with this woman, this is what caused the illness in my son, in his brain. That's my fault. But I just wasn't mature enough to, I didn't quite have the seeing that I see now. But I can look back and I can see now. I see. It's not the mother's fault. It's really my fault because I saw it beforehand. But I didn't have the maturity to act. And that's something that I just have to carry the rest of my life. It is not. I don't have. There's no sense of guilt. I don't have this guilt. I'm not to make myself happy with it. It's a fact. It's a fact. And this is what I'm at war with inside. To teach people to don't pretend, act. Get that subconscious into that conscious mind so it becomes one. We do things out of pity or feeling sorry, or it's not to disturb or to keep people happy or whatever. We do these things. And these are the things that keep people bound, tied up in knots. And it all takes place inside. And yet, even though it is the result of my act, why my son is the way he is, it has given me, I can't say that I am any more with any more of a greater emphasis or greater purpose, but I'm still on course. Life is inherently goodness. And don't forget the other kids that don't have this illness. And don't forget the other kids that are doing very well. Don't forget the other kids that are healthy and having a good life, a good, healthy life. That continues, and that's wonderful, and that's out there. Both sides. Life goes on. Life goes on. Quietness inside, to get our minds clear as fast as possible, and to get our agendas straight as possible. I'm just lucky that my other son came out okay. I'm fortunate, very fortunate, extremely fortunate. Count my blessings with that one. So when I see a healthy one, all right. Yeah. It's just that as human beings, we have a propensity. As human beings, we have a propensity to make very odd and easy mistakes. We have a propensity to not do the right thing. I don't understand. I can't really say. The time factor is always involved. It's always involved. It's involved with everything, the time factor. So I don't know quite where your question is really coming from, but it's, looking back upon my life, it's understandable how the first one got hit hard. Yeah. Got hit very hard with it. It's a dance, people. It's a dance. It's a dance with ourselves, and it's playing with dice. And that's why it's to know your feelings. Really get to know your feelings. It's a very sensitive thing. Creation is a very sensitive thing. So I take the Firedance very seriously. It's very serious. It's a very serious dance.
Yeah. What do I mean? When I said that my son is very little left of him. Very little left of my son. Let me explain this. When most babies come into this world, the full spirit is not in. Usually not in. But the spirit is present. But it's not fully in. And it takes a number of years before more of the spirit comes in. More of the spirit comes in. So it's kind of like let's say a big cloud is up there, and I get born. Well, there's this continuous stream from the cloud constantly coming in. It's and sometimes around the age, it all depends. Everybody's so different. 1, 2 years of age, 3 years, sometimes even 5. It's late, but it's around 5. All of a sudden, there's the stream is bigger. And so the bigger the stream, the more the presence. There's more consciousness and stronger awareness. The less the stream, less, hardly any consciousness, and just awareness. Very, very small stream. That means it's basically running off biology. Even though the spirit is still there. You can just be a vegetable, biology running you. Chemicals. And when an illness or whatever comes into play, it takes off. It's very sensitive. Just like hurt. Like I tell you people, hurt and disappointment is the problem. Look what we all do with hurt when we get hurt. How do we all handle hurt? It's not. We all know. We all know how we're affected by it. Same thing. Goes away. Starts to get small. It's difficult. And when it comes to mental illnesses or whatever, and the person just becomes more and more biological. They're living off just awareness. And so my son is fine. Spiritually, he's fine. He's healthy. So there's very little of my son there. Just more biology.